Welcome everyone to German Tool Reviews. Today we're going to do a bit of an addendum to the push-button slip joint adjustable pliers Showdown by taking a look at the model offered by Stahlwille. I know that when I do these Showdowns I'm not always going to get every model out there, but the design of the Stahlwille was drastically different than all of the other models, so I thought it would be worth a look. These pliers are actually made by VBW, an older company now owned by Stahlwille, who makes all of the Stahlwille pliers that you see in their catalog. The main difference you will encounter in the branding between the VBW and the Stahlwille versions is the color of the handle, with it being red for VBW and green for Stahlwille. They are known by their trade name, Fast Grip. The Fast Grip pliers have one distinctive design difference from all of the other candidates previously reviewed in the Showdown. This is that the notches for the positions appear on the two outer columns of the joint rather than the center column that you see on all of the other models. After looking at this design closely, it appears that it is only engaging teeth on one of the two sides. I'm not sure why they added the jaws on the second side, whether it was for optical symmetry or to keep the mass of the unit balanced. My suspicion is that they originally intended to have teeth on both sides, but they ran into problems in subsequent testing and ended up removing the second set of teeth from the button. Just to review the original criteria for the Showdown, we have cost at 10% where lower is better, maximum jaw opening width at 15% where higher is better, number of positions at 15% or higher is better, position pitch at 15% where lower is better, the grip design at 10%, push button design at 15%, and the gripping performance at 25%. Now let's look to see how the Stahlwille unit compares to the other units in the original Showdown. First in cost, it is the second most expensive unit, slightly more than the Knipex, but still well below the Hazet. Measuring the dimension of each position, as shown here in a light blue line, Stahlwille had the fewest number of positions at 12, but had an interesting curve in the last few positions where it appears that the opening sizes were rising exponentially, something similar we saw in the Knipex model. The maximum opening width I measured was 74.5 millimeters, using the same method as the other units. This ends up being the third best, behind only the NWS and Knipex models. The estimated position pitch of 3.44 millimeters was very much in line with those of the Knipex and Hazet units, but was still well below the Ghidorah unit. Now onto the grips. The Stahlwille uses a plastic dip non-slip coating similar to what you see on the Knipex units. However, the Stahlwille unit feels much softer and has quite a bit more grip than any of the other units I've seen with this type of coating. Examining it closely, comparing it to the Knipex coating, you can see that the Stahlwille has a lot more texture to it, with a greater variation between the peaks and valleys of the material. I can't say that I prefer the feel of the Stahlwille to any of the units I've tried. I also really like the form and ergonomics of the handles. The hook on the bottom of the inner handle feels quite natural, and I'm not sure why more companies don't incorporate this into their designs. I really can't find anything negative to say about these grips, so I actually gave them a 10. On to the push button design. A drastically different approach was taken in the push button mechanism, putting a set of springs directly underneath the button. I felt like this pair slid and moved a lot smoother than any of the other candidates. After studying it for a while, I believe this is because it contains machine surfaces underneath the button. This allows the underside of the button to glide along the surface similar to the ways of a machine. It felt the most natural to move out of all of them. I do have some concerns about the exposed springs underneath the button getting filled with crud over time, preventing them from compressing, so we'll have to wait and see how it holds up. For this one exposed spring reason, I gave it a 9 out of 10 in this category. Finally, for the gripping performance, I can now use the Knipex test fixture that I didn't have the time when I did the original Showdown. As you can see, it passed the putting all of your weight on it test, and it performed at least as good as the Knipex and Hazet units, so I gave them all a 10 in this category. If we add up the scores, even though it has shortcomings in the number of positions and max jaw width, it actually came in second, just ahead of the Hazet unit with a score of 7.85. Still not really anywhere close to unseating the Knipex, which had a score of 9.14. This would push the Hazet down to third place with a score of 7.74. Therefore, if you could just get one of the units I reviewed in this Showdown, it would still be the Knipex. If you could get two, then my second choice at this time would be the Stahlwille. Even though it does have some limitations, the ergonomics of the push button and the handle felt the most natural out of any of the units I've seen thus far. Well, hopefully you enjoyed that look at the Stahlwille Fast Grip Pliers. Check out the link in the description of the full review. There are also some affiliate links in the description if you feel the urge to pick this unit up. Have a good week, and I'll catch you guys next time.